Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here, this time reviewing on the film After Earth. Now as you know, After Earth is a 2013 science fiction post-apocalyptic action-adventure film that was meant to star Will Smith and his son Jaden Smith in this kind of mixing Avatar with a more sci-fi-ish adventure. I know the original idea for the film was meant to be about this father and son trip in the wilderness until it was eventually reworked into a sci-fi setting, and I think after sitting down to watch it, my best thoughts is it's got an idea just working with a really weak, pathetic, pitiable script. And the premise of the film is meant to take place in the future where the where human where humanity has populated on a space colony known as Nova Prime, and we see how on a transport ship we see how Cypher Rage as well as his son Kitani end up crash landing on Earth that has now kind of become basically turned into this kind of environmental kind of altered, altered world. And we kind of see how, yeah, Cypher, who has his legs are broken, gets his son to locate the sort of tail station of the ship to also activate the backup beacon. And we kind of see how Kitani has to journey through dangerous hazards, dangerous animals, as well as environmental disasters to try and stay alive to help him as well as his father stay alive and get back home in one piece. I think it's got a good idea because honestly, I can definitely see what they're trying to do with Will Smith playing Kitani's father. You can tell he's trying to play this really strict but really stern dad, but you get this sense he does show a bit of humanity in him. And I kind of think Will Smith wasn't a bad choice, but I just don't think Will Smith was the right fit. And I think this is the thing. I think there's some actors and actresses that don't fit what a character should be. And I think the problem is having Jaden Smith as Kitani, well, is a good idea on pen and paper, but I think there's moments where he's trying to sound serious, there's moments where he is trying to be emotional, but it comes off as being so enforced because I think there's some child actors and actresses that can work when they're given a part. I think it's like looking at Jessie Flower in Avatar Last Airbender. When she had to play Toph, you can kind of get the sense she had this bit of this smart-ass personality. But when she had to sound stern around Katara or anyone else, you got to feel that she was carrying a lot of her emotions in her part. And I think the best example is when Katara was talking about Toph's parents, and when Jessie Flower, as Toph mentioned, I do hate them. I think this is her bringing up her own past with her father. And I feel like when you have the Disney film The Kid, I think Brendan Fraser was the right fit for younger Russ. You get the sense he was a bit of this weak, pathetic kid, but you get the sense he had a bit of this good heart to his character. And when his dad did scold him, you really felt that emotion. You could really see yourself a bit in that situation where you got in trouble at school. I think the problem is Jaden Smith just comes across as trying to handle what was given, but he just tries to sound too serious when he isn't. When he has to sound emotional, it comes off as so enforced. And also seeing from how I think there were plans for a franchise that obviously wasn't gonna happen because I know there was plans for animated TV shows, web episodes, also a video game, consumer products, theme park attractions and all that. You could really get this sense that obviously Will Smith really wanted this film to work. He wanted it to be this crown jewel, but a lot of it comes off as seeing it as a golden ticket than really thinking it through. And I think this happens a lot with people where they think something's going to work, they think it's going to be this amazing idea, but right away you know it's going to be a fool's gambit. And I think After Earth is just trying to be something that it clearly can't be. And it's a shame because I think it's a shame Will Smith and Jane Smith just come across as playing parts that they clearly aren't really meant for. And I think the film clearly shows the dangers of what can happen when you're playing in a film that clearly isn't meant for you. So I think the film definitely deserves 2 thumbs in the middles. Well, not a bad idea. It's just something that I think clearly was inspired by a golden ticket, crashing and burning, and not really thinking through the product. So, comic book reviewer here, signing out.